Welcome back to Outnumbered. The Pentagon telling Fox News a short time ago there is no major review underway of its ISIS strategy, despite the group's capture of the key Iraqi city of Ramadi. This as White House Press Secretary Josh Earnest says that despite some setbacks, the strategy overall against ISIS has been a success.
Are we going to light our hair on fire every time that there is a setback in the campaign against ISIL, or are we going to take very seriously our responsibility to evaluate those areas where we succeed and evaluate where steps are necessary for us to change our strategy where we've sustained setbacks?
But the White House's glass-half-full attitude not sitting well with key lawmakers on Capitol Hill. House Homeland Security Chair Michael McCaul, who was recently in Iraq, with this reaction earlier today.
To say that we're on the offensive and ISIS is on the defense is absolutely incredulous. They have taken over Ramadi. The black flags were flying there now, and this is a key transit point between Syria and Iraq, and now it's fallen to ISIS. Whatever the strategy is, and I'm not quite sure what that strategy is, it's not working right now.
McCaul also says he does not think defeating ISIS is the White House's top priority. Mike Baker, when Josh Earnest was up at the podium and he referenced the fall of Ramadi to ISIS as a setback, you were shaking your head.
Well, yeah, and also I'm sure he'd like to walk back that little phrase about what are we going to do, set our hair on fire. I mean, that's just one of those things, and people latched onto that. But that, you know, we get past that. The big issue here is, do I think that defeating ISIS is a top priority for the White House? Of course it is. I mean, because, you know, if for no other reason, then they understand the political importance of it. Do I think that one of the things you learn in the agency, in the CIA, is that things constantly change. And so you're taught to always evaluate and constantly be evaluating risk versus gain, looking at the new intelligence, because you understand that everything changes on a constant basis. For them to say that there's no major review underway is telling, and it's very disappointing, because there should be a review constantly underway of things that they are doing. And the current situation, when Josh Earnest and when the White House talks about this and they say, well, you have to expect certain setbacks, particularly when you're in a long-term strategy such as we are in. Again, very telling and very disappointing, because what are they saying? They're saying this is the strategy we chose. It's going to be a long-term because this is what they've decided to do, essentially a stalemate strategy where you rely on limited intelligence to drive an air campaign while you hope for that happy, magical day when unicorns and winged monkeys come flying out that the Iraqi army is going to take over the fight. And that's been our strategy. It's not going to work. So what do? We conduct a review. There's nothing wrong with that, but I have a feeling that they're very reluctant to admit any mistakes. We've seen that in the past.
But Rachel, there's no review underway, as the Pentagon has made that very clear. Mike's saying there should be a review underway, and particularly there are calls for a review to go underway to question whether or not there should be more ground troops rather than relying on these airstrikes.
Actually, I think there is a strategy, and the only discernible strategy is their alignment with Iran, which is why the weapons are going through Baghdad to go into the hands of the Iranian-backed Shia militias. Just yesterday, wait a minute, can I just
show you a question? No, you may not.
Just yesterday on the Hill, my husband met with a sheikh, a Sunni tribal leader, who is on the Hill. They've already begged the administration to send the weapons directly to them because they can't get it. These are people who have fought before. It's their land. They want to take back Ramadi. He's from Ramadi. And they're on the Hill asking members of Congress, please, get your people to send them to us. We have people that want to fight. And the thing is, there's a basket of options. We can't just go just with the Shia. We can give to the Kurds. They want to fight. The tribal leaders want to fight. Why are we doing this? Only the Iranian-backed.
Right. Well, there's a fairly well-worn path of Iraqi militia leaders and others back and forth to Washington asking for arms. I mean, so first of all, so this is a constant on their part. We actually worked with the current Iraqi government to convince them not to bring in the Shiite militias. That was our call.
Right.
We told them not to do that, which contributed to the fall of Ramadi in a sense, because we delayed that. Now we're backing off and saying, well, we've talked to them, and the Prime Minister's got good enough control over the fighting units and militias that they're going to go with it. So now all of a sudden it's okay with us. We don't want to kid ourselves. We have no leverage out there. We've got a handful of trainers. They're doing the dog's body work. It's horrible work, but they're doing the best they can to try to bring up this Iraqi military that we supposedly have been training and assessing for well over a decade. They're still incapable of taking this fight on.
But they look like the JV team. That's the JV team.
Well, my point being is, we're not the strategy that somehow we're going to now get the Iraqi military capable of doing this, and the fact that we're going to convince the Iranians to do what we would like them to do. We don't have any control of what the Iranians are doing in there. We don't really have a lot of control of what the militias or the Iraqi military are doing. We are losing this thing very, very quickly.
Because they're not trying to defeat them.
And meanwhile,
Exactly.
Meanwhile, we were running a banner that says the White House sees the current mission there as a success. All right. Have the PC police finally gone too far? The Boy Scouts banning water guns and limiting the size of water balloons. Really? Boy Scouts?